Hi, this is video 1A, and we're going to talk about enharmonic modulation using German augmented sixth and dominant seventh chords. Two things that you should remember for this video, and for this topic in general. We are only going to use two kinds of chords. First, we're going to use the dominant seventh chord, or you might know it as the major minor seventh chord, in root position only, no inversions. And then secondly, we're going to use the German augmented sixth chord, lay, do, me, fi, with lay in the bass, and that's the way you're used to seeing it. Let's take a look at these two chords. The chord on the left is a German augmented sixth chord in F sharp, and you'll remember that is lay, do, me, and fi, and it sounds like this. Now, it doesn't really matter whether we're in F sharp minor or F sharp major here. Just think of it as an F sharp tonic, and you'll notice we're not using a key signature. Because D natural is lay in F sharp major, where it's a lowered tone, you'd need to put a natural sign on it, or in F sharp minor, it's lay, and it's already in the key. In any case, you'll remember that a German augmented sixth chord resolves outward, so that lay goes to sol, this will go to C sharp, and fi goes to sol. And I'll remind you that C sharp is sol in both F sharp minor and F sharp major. So this chord, as a German augmented sixth, would resolve out to here, or if we were in F sharp minor, now, you might have noticed that this chord sounds an awful lot like a dominant seventh, and in fact, all we have to do is enharmonically respell B sharp as C natural, and it looks like a 5-7 chord. The 5-7 chord we get is D, F sharp, A, C, which is 5-7 in the key of G. But this time it doesn't resolve outwards, it would resolve to G. It could resolve to G major or G minor, either one, but it's 5-7 of G. So instead of resolving outward, we're going to hear it resolve like this. Or if we were in G minor, like this. The point is that these two chords sound the same. So you could use this chord as a pivot chord to get you from F sharp into G, or from G into F sharp, based on the way you resolve the chord, and we'll talk more about that later. Right now, let's do another one. Next, we're going to build a dominant seventh chord on the pitch E flat. E flat, G, B flat, and D flat. If we spelled this chord out on the piano, it would look something like this. And this E-flat dominant seventh chord is 5-7 in the key of A flat. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make it look like a German augmented sixth chord, and then find out what key we're in, or what key we can get to, changing the 5-7 into a German augmented sixth. And remember, you don't really change anything at all, because you don't change the sound of the chord, you're just respelling it. So what happens when you respell enharmonically is that the root, third, fifth, and seventh of the 5-7 chord become the lay, the do, the me, and the fi of the German. So if we look down here, we have root, third, fifth, seventh on the piano. That's going to become lay, do, me, fi. All right, so lay is E flat, easy enough. Do is G. Me is B flat, and I'll just stop here and say you already know what key you're in because do is G, so we're in the key of G. Now Phi in the key of G is not D flat, it's C sharp. And we spell it that way so that the C sharp and the E flat can resolve out to D, which is Sol in the key of G. So they would resolve here, C sharp to D, and here, E flat to D. So in G, this is a German augmented sixth chord. And it can be a German augmented sixth chord in G major or in G minor, because it's lay, do, mi, fi, either way. Let's do one more. We're going to build a dominant seventh chord on C sharp. And remember, this chord is going to be 5-7, and you can think of C sharp as 5-7 in the key of F sharp. Could be major, could be minor. And we're going to spell that C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, and B. Looks like this on the piano. C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, and B. And it sounds like this. Okay, and normally as a 5-7, it would resolve to F sharp. Now we're going to take the root, third, fifth, seventh, and respell it as lay, do, mi, and fi. Now the problem here is that C sharp, the note C sharp, isn't lay in any key. But the note D flat is lay in a key. In other words, a sharp note can't be lay, right? So instead of changing the top note this time, we have to change everything else. So the bottom note we're going to call D flat. The next note we're going to call F, because that's our do. Another way to say this is that there is no key of E sharp major or minor, but there is a key of F major or minor. So the mi is A flat, and the Fi stays as B natural, and now we have a German augmented sixth chord in the key of F. So sometimes you'll respell the top note, the seventh becoming Fi, and sometimes you'll need to respell the bottom three notes in order to make it work in a key. In this case, we had to respell C sharp, E sharp, and G sharp to D flat, F, and A flat to make it work as a German augmented sixth in F. Now before I go, I'm going to play both of these for you. The chord on the left is a 5-7 in F sharp. If we were in F sharp major, let's say, it would go here. If it were F sharp minor, it would go here. It doesn't really matter, we just know that it goes to an F sharp chord. Now the chord on the right, exact same chord in sound, functioning as a German augmented sixth in F. I'll do it in F minor first. It would sound like this. Or in F major. That is the end of video 1A. Have a great day. P.S. Be sure to list any questions in the comments section and I will respond. Thanks.